Okie dokie nerds. So a Dredge League today. I've built the Dredge deck a bit differently. I've got a full 11 permission spells plus a chalice and 4 griefs, so quite heavy on interaction. I'm also going to main deck the 5 wasteland effects, so 4 strip 1 or 4 waste 1 strip. And then to make space, we've gone onto 0 revival, 0 vigor main deck, 0 silver smoke ghoul, and just 2 thugs. So a bit aggressive with how low you can go on like action and kill conditions, but we've still got 4 chills, 4 Ichorids, 4 narcs to burn them out, and then prized amalgams if we can get through on the ground. On the 4 hollow ones as well, obviously dodge, graveyard, hate, both games 1 and 3 and 2 in that order. 4 powders as you'd expect. Post board, 4 lay down of the voids, 4 mirrors, squeeze, and maybe some beseech storm. I'm not too sure if that's actually good. 3 sickening shoals because there's a butt ton of containment priest out there. 4 vigors, 2 revivals, and then 2 more traps for combo-y matchups. So that's what we're going to run through the league, and we'll talk a bit more about the deck as we go through. Okay, you're up against KF Chicken, who's always on something powerful but slightly off mainstream, and they've got 80 cards in their deck, so that checks out. I would like to play first, though. That would be cool. So they're going to reveal themselves a Yorion, I imagine. Yep. So Yorion plays Triple Bazaar on 7. So let's see how that pans out. If we don't win this, Triple Bazaar versus 80 cards, do not build your dredge deck like this. So let's lead on Grief. Yeah, Triple Bazaar with a troll. Cool, man. So yeah, let's lead on Grief, pitching Creeping Chill. Let's see where that gets us. Opponent doing the thinking. And it gets through. So we'll get to see what they're about. What have we got here? Oath, Oath, Astrolabe, Brainstorm, Force, Sphinx. So we could just take an Astrolabe here. I'm not casting any more spells this game. So the Force of Will doesn't look like it does anything. Sphinx of the Steel Wind would be an issue. I think I'll just take the Astrolabe actually. I think I'll try and high roll. Well, if I'm trying to high roll, is Brainstorm just better to take? Yeah, maybe that's better. Yeah, so let's take Brainstorm. Grief can die. And now this actually does bring up one of the bits I like about this build of the deck. When you know you're against Oath, you can kind of chill a bit with your Narcomoebas and Amalgams and just try and, like, if they're not doing anything particularly quickly, right? So our opponent's expecting us to put the creatures into play for their Oath of Druids. So we don't have any ghouls, and the ghouls are the only cards that Dredge usually plays that can accidentally come into play. Everything else you have complete agency over whether it comes in or not. So opponent's going to fetch a Snow-Covered Island and play an Astrolabe here, and that will cycle through for them. But yeah, one of the reasons I like cutting ghouls is the Oath matchup, where you can kind of get away with it, sort of thing. And like lean on Ichorids and chills, and with a Triple Bazaar start, I think that's something that we've absolutely got outs to do. So I'm going to dredge slowly here, just so I get to maintain a card in hand. We'll chill them, and we hit an Ichorid. So main phase, I'm going to go Bazaar, pitching. Dredging a chill. I've actually popped my graveyard out so you can see it. I don't know if that's actually any bigger, but we only hit one dredger on that dredge, and now we've hit a thug and an amalgam. There we go. So 3 Ichorids in the yard at the moment. I'm going to discard these 3, and I'm going to play a Bazaar of Baghdad. I think pass the turn. And then we'll know what they're doing. I can't deal any more damage this turn. And this means I get to keep Trap and Bazaar in hand, and I can decide what to do as we get to the end of their turn. So Mox Ruby comes down, and they're going to resolve an Oath of Druids on us. I can't beat the Oath, but I might just be able to beat them. So we've got 3 Ichorids there. So second main phase, we'll do some dredging. Because now we can push for an Archimeber. And miss. Did I register an Archimeber? 1, 2, 3, 4 Ichorids. So we're just going to flip our whole deck. Do I even need the Bazaar? I don't think so. I'm not going to have any of it anyway, so let's just pitch a Mind Break Trap. I think we're just going to win here through the Oath, or before the Oath gets the opportunity to trigger. Because that's 4 of those. So that's 12. So we'll eat. I'm not going to dredge either. I'm just going to eat an amalgam. Eat a grief. There's no more amalgams, right? Eat a shell and eat a thug. Oh no, there's a grief at the top. Sorry. So that's 12 power on board already. We've been through 2 chills and we've got 27 cards. So we'll draw step, we'll bring back our troll, taking us down to 21 cards, and we'll hit a narc and a chill. So we'll say yes on the chill, no on the narc, just in case. So Narcomoeba doesn't come back in. Main phase, now we'll attack them for 12, put them to 1. And now we can dredge again, right? We've got 1 chill left. Let's just confirm that. 1 chill, 2 chill, 3 chill. So I've got 1 chill left in my deck. So, and I've got to do 21 cards. So I've got Stinkweed Imp, so that should be easy. Opponent agrees. Cool. So what do we do against Oath of Druids? What do we do against Yorion Oath? That's a big question. I don't know what Yorion Oath can have. The Wastelands are usually dead against Mr. KF Chicken because he's on the multiple snow basics and Astrolabes. Sickening Shoal doesn't really have any text. I think Vigors and Revivals will be good. I think Chalice is bad on the draw. And then we just need really one more card to bring in. Trap's probably quite loose, I think, so I think we can get down to 1 trap. I think we can try something like this. Sickening Shoal's dead against Oathright. Wastelands get dead against basic lands. Noxious just topped up my green count a little bit for the expected ley lines. So opponents on 80 cards once again, and they've revealed a Yorion. We're going to powder, but I don't like it. So quite a few Vigors gone there, and one of our hollow ones, which is one of our primary ways around a ley line. They don't have ley line, we've got 2 Bazaars. Lotus. Okay, you can have a Lotus. And you pass the turn, cool. So, how do we play this? Let's play Bazaar, and I think we do activate now. Now to start Stinkweed Imp, Priced Amalgam, Shambling Shell. Right, that seems good. We'll pass to the opponent, see if they've got anything for us here. They could have Ravenous Traps as a top up to Graveyard, because they need a bit more than just the 4 ley lines, I imagine. So, second turn they have Snow-Covered Island number 2, and they're just chilling. Cool. So this is my graveyard. And basically, usually, we're kind of trained to... Oh, they're going for something here. Oko Thief of Crowns. I feel like I can defeat an Oko. I've got 2 Bazaars. I don't know, like, it just doesn't feel like it does much. Yeah, you got it. And they've got a green floating here, so they make a food token. And they don't use their mana. Okay, sure. So they've got an Oko, we've got 2 Bazaars. I feel like we're ahead in that exchange. But one thing with the Bazaar of Baghdad, obviously activating on your upkeep, is going down a card a lot of the time. So we're just going to chill. We're going to maintain our big load of cards in hand. Play a Dredge a Stinkweed Imp and Dredge a Creeping Chill. Burn them for 3. And the main phase will activate our Bazaar. So we've got that card in hand from our draw step, and we'll Dredge a Thug, and we'll Dredge a Shell, and we'll discard one of these amalgams, this Stinkweed Imp, and this Golgari Thug. I am going to reanimate the Narc here, because that will get me 3 amalgams with 2 Force of Wills behind. And I feel like we're in a position where we can close a game before they can trigger an Oath of Druids. So let's play this Bazaar, and let's do a wee bit more dredging, I imagine. Do we need to? I've got one. I've already know where my 4 amalgams are. Yeah, I can't imagine that we actually need to right now. Yeah, so we can just do it in their turn. And basically what we're doing at the moment is just playing in the manner which maintains the most cards in hand, so that we have these 2 Force of Wills online for as long as possible. So opponent's turn 3. They've resolved an Oko as their big hurrah. They've got a Tabernacle at Pendule Vale. Okay, so we're going to do some end step dredging. They're going to come in for 3. You're going to attack me. So maybe that was a bit short-sighted of me just to cut all the wastelands. You can block here for free because your Narcomoeba's dead. And Dredge end step, or Dredge second main. It doesn't make a difference, right? So let's Dredge end step. So Stinkweed Imp, and this is just looking for Ichorids here. Stinkweed Imp, Stinkweed Imp. Discard, discard, discard. So we didn't find any additional Ichorids there. I am going to continue to be slow with my dredging. So my amalgams are going to die. My strip mine's gone, so my amalgams are dead. Okay, so they're free food for the Ichorid now at this point. Yeah, we're going to continue to chill. I'll just eat an amalgam, trigger the other 2. Draw step, we'll Dredge a Stinkweed Imp, and we'll chill them. Yep. There's another Ichorid in the yard. I don't know what we gain from dredging at sorcery speed here. I'm going to get in their face with my Ichorid. Next turn we've got 2 Ichorids attacking. And that will eat the rest of our amalgams. So they're not going to get an Oath of Druids trigger without Mox and Time Walk or something like that this turn. we've been through 3 of our 4 chills. And they don't have to pay the 1 because of Oko's abilities. It's quite cool. So they make a food token and pass. No attacks this turn. No Oath of Druids either. So let's just flick this guy in. Stinkweed Imp. Stinkweed Imp. I've got 6 cards left in my deck. I hit the Chill and the Narc. So, okay, I would like to burn you. Okay, I don't need to click through Narc Amoeba. Okay. So now, how many Ichorids have we found? All 4 of them. We want to stack them so that Ichorid happens last, so I've got food for my Ichorids. And now we're going to kill our opponent with 4 Ichorids, and at no point were we particularly threatened just because we were able to play in a way that maintained double force of will for the whole game. So we'll eat Amalgam. We'll eat the other Amalgam, and then there's going to be some griefs lying around as well. Okay. And now that I've been through all 4 thugs, all 4 chills and all 4 Ichorids, we can just take a draw step as per, get another force of will, and then we'll go to combat and we'll attack you for 12 points of damage. You can block 3 and gain 3. But that's going to leave you short 1 without interaction. So you go to 8. You block 1. This is currently 9. Do you have something that I don't know about? No. Cool. And we win a match. So that was nice. Yeah, and that, I think that sort of matchup, or that matchup exactly, is exactly why I like why I don't like the ghouls is just like I have so much control over what's going on with things coming in and out of play, and yeah, so a bit of a, I feel like different sort of way of approaching it there, where we weren't so balls to the walls, upkeep, activate my bazaar. We just took our time, maintained cards in hand, and that really stifled what our opponent would have been able to do to us. So on to round 2. Okay, round 2, we're up against Tomo0109. We've won another die roll, which is a great place to be. So, let's see what our opening 7 has in store for us. And it's got a Bazaar, it's got a Grief, it's got a Hollow one. They've revealed a Lurus. So we'll keep this hand low on Narc Amoebas, but that's fine, because if this first Bazaar activation picks up a Force of Will or something, that'd be dope. I don't have anything worse to pitch than Creeping Chill, so we'll just pitch and take a look-ski. So opponent is on Jeskai. Dauntless Dismantlers are dead. Maybe I wish I'd seen more cards. Maybe this was a sequencing error. So I could take Lotus, I could take Ancestral. I think they're the only 2 choices, really. I think I'll take Ancestral. What are they going to do? Lotus out of Dauntless Dismantler? So Ancestral's gone for them. We'll play Bazaar and activate Bazaar. And we'll discard Stinkweed Imp, Narc Amoeba, Serum Powder, cast a Hollow one. And in this game here, a bit different to the last one where we had like lots of interaction. This one is just going to be play our second Bazaar and go as ham as we possibly can. When it's just going to be flip your deck as quickly as possible. The opponent has Lotus, Volk, Expressive. You can't really Expressive on turn 1, right? Okay, you can. Oh yeah, I guess you can more in this format, right? You've got so many zeros. Well, they're going to have 3, but it's a Jeskai deck, so they're a lock to hit one of them. Oh, maybe not. So yeah, we were just going to flip our deck there, and and play a bit more like traditional than we did in the last round. So up against Jeskai Lurrus, I do like the idea of the Sickening Shoals. They're going to be very good. The Noxiouses are going to be great because our opponent is going to have at least Wasteland. I'm kind of on board with exploring Vigor for a minute, just because it's going to kill Needles. Traps usually on the weaker side against these Lurrus decks. Grief on the draw can probably get shaved a little bit. I might not want to be going quite so hard on these Vigors, actually. That's interesting. I think we can just go down to a 4-2 split on the permission. I like the misstep and I like the chalice. I like the chalice just because if they do get the ball rolling with Lurrus, it can just off a bauble. Actually, it's on the draw, no, it's so bad. And let's cut a couple of Wastelands and then maybe just go to 3 Vigors. No, 4 Vigors, 1 Waste, 1 Strip, I think is fine. We can expect Tabernacle, we can expect Needle. Needle is more of a lights out card to hedge in favour of the Needle. Could have cut a Grief, but we do need food for our Ichorids to convert a game, so don't want to go too low on that front. This is just a little shaving off the top. Obviously 2 hollow ones is difficult, but it's fine. You're never not powdering, sort of thing. So, or you're rarely not powdering. I think it's easier if you just stick to never. So opponents revealed a Lurrus again, as is expected. I do think, though, that there's, depending on how you feel about your graveyard matchup as a Lurrus player, you should definitely have the range to have Leyline in your sideboard. I was seeing that last week, and then Medvedev actually top 8'd the challenge with Bug Lurrus with 4 Leyline to post board. We'll powder that away. We've got one of our Griefs. We haven't got a blue card for this Force of Will, so we'll see how turn 1 goes. But Grief, Pitching Chill, Bazaar, discarding Shambling Shell, Ichorid, a card that we draw, and we'll hold a blue card for Force of Will. That's the idea here. Obviously we've gone down a bit on blue, so maybe we just discard the Force and see where we get to. But finding a Sickening Shoal can be quite a big part of any white Lurrus matchup. Or just white matchup, actually, because the mono white decks play it as well, don't they? The Containment Priest. So here's a Strip Mine. This is Strip Mine Needle. Strip Mine Soul Guide. Okay. Seems fine. We'll take our draw step. We'll give him a Grief. And we'll Grief, Pitching Chill first of all. See what they've got. See, they've got Tabernacle, which they don't. So I think I'm just going to take Expressive. I'm going to take Expressive Iteration. Because that's their velocity. And my 4-4 is bigger than their 2-2. We'll now activate the Bazaar. Nice. So I'm going to discard Narc Force, Narcomoeba, Force of Will, Shambling Shell. And now we'll Grief them again. And what have you got? I've already forgotten. Containment Priest Ruby. So let's just take the Containment Priest here. Okay. So they're holding Ruby Tundra. We'll cast a hollow one. And we'll pass the turn. And now, to get back into the game, they need to find a plough at least. Or they need to cycle this Soul Guide Lantern, at which point we have a graveyard. And then next turn we can just play Wasteland. They've got a Tundra. Did you top deck Plough? No. So I will Dredge, just to see if we get them to bink. We did not. So let's attack for 4 first of all, before we show them anything. And now I will Wasteland their Tundra. It's a bit aggressive. Oh, did they draw it? Yeah, they drew the Plough. They top decked the Plough. Wow. So yes, now we lose. That's just like the absolute worst case scenario for us. So we've got no dredges, which is a weakness of my list. And they've now got 6-7 turns to draw out of this whilst having a Soul Guide Lantern in play, right? So we lose, but we don't actually have to take any game actions, so that's cool. Okay, there's a Saga in the Jeskai deck. That's different, but it's good, so well done them. So Hollow One. They've drawn exceptionally well, right? Their last 2 draw steps have been Plough into Saga. And I feel like we took the right cards off them. And now they've drawn a Volcanic. And we can concede if we don't hit Bazaar right now. Okay, no. We've hit a Vigor. So opponent is making a construct on our end step. And then they're making a construct again. And I'll let them make the construct, so I want to kill the actual needle. And they'll have 2 2/2s in play. They can make them 3 3s if they play their Ruby. We've got 2 Bazaars left to draw. And this is why Shambling Shell is one of your best cards. Okay, they're just going to exile something from our yard. It doesn't make a difference, everything's already dead. They exile a Priced Amalgam. Okay. And I'm going to do this whilst they've got no mana. I'm just going to bink those 2. Because then they can't cycle them for cards. So it looks like they're not on Needle, or they just decided a second Soul Guide is better than Needle in this spot. So they exile our yard, and then this can just die, it doesn't make a difference. And yeah, a Bazaar of Baghdad is all we ever want right now. They've drawn Lotus, so now they can buy Luris. They play the Ruby. Maybe you need to buy Luris next turn, because then you can actually play it. We take 4. And next turn they're going to have looping Soul Guides. So once again, this is the last turn, and we can lock it up there. Cool. On to the next game. Just the perfect Plough from our opponent. I think with the presence of Saga, we are more interested in Wasteland, and on the play I think we're interested in Chalice. So what do we want to cut from this though, is the next question. I think I'm going to try cutting a Misstep and Force of Negation, and I might actually just bring in another Grief for the other Force of Negation. So low on blue cards, but I don't think that's too tragic. So let's keep this. We'll mulligan. We'll keep this. We'll put Force of Will on the bottom because we know that's the worst of all of these. Draw step. I'm going to Grief them, pitching a Stinkweed Imp, I think, just in case I need 2 Griefs. And they've got Wasteland, Wasteland, Soul Guide Lantern, Containment Priest. So let's take your Soul Guide Lantern. We'll activate Bazaar of Baghdad here. See if we can find something different to pitch. And we do. So we'll discard these 3. And we'll grief you again. So just down to 1 Dredge and no Bazaar here. We'll take Containment Priest. Pretty good and hateful starts from our opponent in the post-board games. They play a Tundra and a Mox Sapphire, so they get turn 1 Lavinia. And they've drawn exceptionally well as well, I think. But they are giving us a Bazaar of Baghdad, so that's kind of cool. So let's Dredge with Stinkweed Imp. Dredge with Shambling Shell. Bink Bink. And then we get a Narcomoeba. And then we'll Dredge with Stinkweed Imp. And hit nothing. But we did hit a Troll actually. So it's over to the opponent. I don't think this Amalgam saw. Nope. Wasteland. I feel like Wastelanding last turn was better. Like Lavinia doesn't do anything, right? I've cast all my spells. Okay, I take 2. We'll Dredge the Troll. Have you found another Containment Priest? Doesn't look like it. So combat we get in for 1. And our Amalgam comes in. So we've only got 1 Ichorid to fight through a Tabernacle at the moment. And then Tabernacle plus Containment Priest would pretty much end the game. As a volcanic island. I don't know what's going on over here. We know about 1 Wasteland. So they look to buy Lurus. Yeah. Do you have the Lotus at this point? Oh my god. Every draw step a banger when you play Jeskai Control. So that's going to make life pretty darn difficult for us because they're going to have Containment Priest next turn, which means the rest of our Ichorids are dead. We know about Wasteland. You can just crack Lotus and cast the Containment Priest from hand. Oh, red mana. Ragavan. Okay, sure. Ragavan's on the more irrelevant side of things over here at the moment, I think. Like, I'm surprised it's in their deck. It's unless you just need a Birds of Paradise, I guess. So Ichorid triggers. We'll exile a Grief. We do want to apply some pressure. We'll pitch a Stinkweed Imp, hit a Creeping Chill to burn them, and then we'll go to combat and we'll hit with the Hasty Dude and the small guys. 1, 2 of our shoals have gone. And that's it. So I think the Amalgam can sit at home and wait and watch. So attack. We're going to get Containment Priested next turn out of the yard, or we're going to get Soul Guide Lanterned out of the yard. And that this is just our force from now on, which isn't a winning group of cards. Yeah, I don't know how we get out of this. I mean, both post-board games, right? We've griefed them hard, and they've completely obliterated us. Not much to be done there, I don't think. So they just, they just nuke our graveyard straight away. Plays a Wasteland from hand. Got 1 mystery card left over. They can't attack with any of their creatures. We get an Ichorid to hand. I'm going to attack for 2 in the air. So at some point, they have to trade off their Lurus or draw Swords to Plowshares. Or an Urza Saga, that one will work. That one will increase the clock. Now you can cast Soulgate Lantern and it can do a Bauble impression. I mean, Containment Priest is just a Grizzly Bear at this point. Opponent still can't attack past our 3/3. And these are the games that you do unfortunately have to play out as the Dredge player. Because just sometimes, right, you know, they establish the lock and then can't answer 2 flyers. Or a 3/3. Because they've gone so deep on their graveyard hate that the fact that I've made board presence already is too good. I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think their Saga's going to just bail them out. Lurrus is coming in for some life points. So I imagine my Amalgam's going to get ploughed at some point in the near future. The whole squad comes in. Okay, no. Holding back Lavinia, which is... I don't know what Lavinia's doing. But we've got to block Lurrus because everything else just comes back. So our Amalgam's dead. So Ragavan hit gets in. I don't know what they exiled, I can't see it. My graveyard's in the way. More Sagas. They drew an Ichorid, which I can't imagine they're casting here. So our turn hits a Shambling Shell. Am I supposed to be blocking here? Probably not. Let's get in for 2. Maybe I'm supposed to be blocking actually, because they're going to have like 2 8/8s or some shit. But I think we're already dead. Most of our bazaars have gone. 1, 2, 3 bazaars out of 4. And we've only got 24 cards, so we probably don't even have enough cards to re-establish a presence in this game. Saga's going to get another Soul Ride Lantern to kill our Amalgam. And yeah, we've basically got 0 outs. I do feel like our opponent drew very well in the first 2 to 3 draw steps of this game. Obviously it's vintage and that can happen, so it goes. But what are you going to do? Is this lethal? So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So no. In they come. We go to 3. It's 3 if they make a token. 4 if they don't. They don't need to. They've got 2 cards in hand. May as well keep the mana up. No. Okay, I was wrong. Make the token. Put me to 3. Ding dong. We go to draw step. Our draw step needs to draw about 4 hollow ones. And a Bazaar of Baghdad. Which is difficult. Difficult to do. And we get Sickening Shoal, which we can't cast. Okay. On to round 3. So round 3 up against Asmussen. We're on the draw this time. And yeah, sorry, I always do this. I always review the last game whilst I'm looking at my next opening hand. But I think against Jeskai, where round 1 was like a showcase as to why not having ghouls could be good, I think this was, you know, maybe this is why not having ghouls is so bad, is because I just don't have that closing speed that your Dredge decks usually have. So, I would like to keep my hand. I don't know why that was so hard. Let's see what our opponent's got. No Lurrus revealed. We've got turn 1 Grief pitching a shell, so that's going to be cool. And then activate a Bazaar of Baghdad at some point in the future. Your first Bazaar activation always needs to, not always, usually you want to do it on turn 1, unless you've mulliganed really low, because that way you get access to Hollow One. So, a bunch of power, could be white, could be Beseech, it's coveted jewel, by the looks of things. Brainstorm, it's not coveted jewel, so it looks like it's Beseech Storm, and the fact that they've played out all their Moxen makes me think they're either scared of me having Chalice, or I'm dead. Oh no, they need to turn on Academy. No. So neither of the 2 things that I said above, it's just that I'm stupid. There we are. That's the one. That's the one. There's only ever 3 options. The last one is usually the correct answer. Or it could be a combination of both. Yeah, that also works. Dark Ritual. Beseech. GT. DT Beseech for Yawgmoth's Will. Do it all again. Sounds good. Get Lotus because, you know, I wasn't dead enough. Beseech the Mirror. That'll get them a Yawgmoth's Will. They can crack their Lotus if they want to, but the Lotus was not required in this sequence. Surprised we didn't crack the Jet. Cool. We are dead. We know what we're playing against. And as I said, we've registered a bunch of blue permission because it gives us a really good game 1 combo matchup. So let's go and see if game 2 can do anything about that. 2 more traps. Faux show. I am just going to hedge the Vigors. Just because I think in the dark, against specifically me, people will hedge ley lines. I don't know if that's true. Well, my most recent results on Goldfish are Doomsday, because I went 0-3 in a prelim with Doomsday, and Oath at the weekend. So maybe you can't just like raw dog in ley lines, but there's no point in just being so dead to that, right? I'm going to trim a couple of wastelands. And then what? All my blue permission is obviously dope. My griefs are good. I like my Creeping Chills. It is a Saga deck, that's why we need some strips. Maybe if I'm bringing in 4 Vigors though, then I don't need as many. 3 cuts still though. Maybe it's just like a couple of chills. I don't really like cutting the chills that much because it makes me so slow. And then what about dredgers? We've got 8, 9, 10, 11. That's already low. Ah, you're not my dad. See, yeah. Got the dredger. Easy game. Please no turn 1 ley line. Easy. Right. So let's grief pitching Amalgam. Opponent forces. Pitching Dress Down. Okay. And now we'll play Bazaar. We'll activate Bazaar. The hollow one makes this exceptionally fucking awkward. Do I need hollow one? They don't have a ley line. I think it's better for me to have double permission up. So I'm actually just going to discard the hollow one. I don't think I need it. We haven't got Graveyard Hate to play around at the moment. And this keeps up double interaction. That's our Graveyard. We don't know their hand. Underground Sea. If I get to rest, I'm going to lose my mind. Mana Crypt, okay. Black and 1 is a DT. Which I think I'm happy to force. Post-board tutors can always get Tabernacles and Graveyard Hate and this sort of shit. An opponent's got a top to finish off. I think we can just trap that for fun. So we used all of our cards, which makes me feel good about the discarding of the hollow one. But now we do need to flip something good. Obviously we went down on dredgers, so that could be awkward. We get a Narcomoeba here. And a single Amalgam trigger. And then draw step. We're going to dredge our Stinkweed Imp again. And it's the opponent's turn. So we hit 1 Ichorid and all of that and 1 Amalgam. So quite slow, but opponent's on 2 cards and we've all used a lot of resources. So back to us, and we can flip in response here. Stinkweed Imp, Shambling Shell. These 3 go away. That's a Narcomoeba trigger on top of the Ichorid trigger, so we will eat that. And then we'll eat a Grief. Dredge, I've got a Grave Troll now, down to 24 cards. Here's another Narc. So 1, 2, and 7. And opponent is dead next turn. So they've got 1 draw step here to get somewhere. And they're at 6, losing the flip, so they're dead to the board. So Graveyard Hate doesn't save them. And we win. Okay, so that's cool. That is cool. Do we want anything else? I do like how this is set up at the moment. Wasteland versus Thug is interesting to me. Maybe we can trim a Grief on the draw for another Thug. What if we trim another Grief for a Chill? And I think the Chills are actually a lot worse. I think I'm actually just going to keep the Griefs and just cut all the Chills and grab another Wasteland down here. So now they will have ley lines. That's an absolute lock. So we need the Vigors in. Only 5 additional cards to the Vigors. I'm not bringing in the Revivals at the moment, just because I'm not expecting them to have Strip or Waste. This doesn't have a Bazaar, so it's going away. Same here. And ideally we'll have like Bazaar, Vigor, green card, Mindbreak Trap, Dredger, something like that. At the moment, let's just settle on Bazaar. So we're down to 3. Still no Bazaar, but we can powder. So we'll keep 1 Dredger, 1 Trap. Basically all the things that do stuff. So say done there. Mulligan to 2. We'll keep this and we will... Opponent's on 6 cards. Sure. Mindbreak Trap or Stinkweed. I think that's a really, really close one. I think we keep Trap. Okay, no Leyline of the Void from the opponents. That's nice for us. Underground Sea. Sensei's Divining Top. Okay. So 4 cards in hand for the opponent after a mulligan to 6. They found something that they liked in that 6. I'll play the Bazaar because if they do randomly have a Wasteland or Strip Mine, then I can just flip and hold the trap. And if I use my cards, then I've got 2 flips before my first draw step as well. So to look for a Dredger. So Underground Sea, Black Lotus. Okay. It's going to be Ritual. I think Ritual's fine because we've got the trap for this follow-up here. They use some of that mana on the top. And we know they're holding a payoff, right? Because they've committed a Ritual to this line. The trap is on their next spell because they've gone Lotus Ritual. Let's see where this takes them. 2 cards, but the top is very good. And that Sensei's Topper seemed to throw our opponent off a bit, that top activation. They clearly had something in hand to do, and now they've really slowed down. I think I will trap this. And if I get Beseeched, I get Beseeched. But I'm not expecting to have any cards in my hand at the end of my next turn. So using our resources is very good. And their last card was Beseech the Mirror, so that's kind of brutal. So Storm Count is 5, Yawgmoth will... Yeah, so we just lose. Oh, Leyline of the Void. Storm Count is 6. Yawgmoth will, Lotus, top, Beseech, Tendrils. Sounded stronger to me. Okay, so we're no longer flipping. I don't think. So if I flip, I can dredge up to... I can find a Shambling Shell to dredge into. They've got no cards in hand. No, I think I can just take my time with this. I think this has all been like quite the blessing. And we'll just go up to 2 cards and then we'll do some bazaring. So that's a shell actually, so maybe we don't do any bazaring. We'll do bazaring next turn then. Basically, if we hit a blank there, then we can try and draw into a hollow 1 Shambling Shell, Force of Vigor. And if we hit something good, we can just wait, go up to 3 cards, because we need 2 cards to cast a Vigor, right? So it's an Ichorid, that's a blank, so we can draw up. These cards are all useless at this point, and we can present a threat on our way to Vigor. Obviously our opponent's deck's very powerful and it can kill us at any moment, but we've just got to do what we can do. That's a Narcomoebus, that's going to be a good one to discard next turn. In for 4, opponent goes to 16. Obviously we're the one making progress, but board position doesn't particularly really mean anything in this matchup. They're on 3 cards, haven't played another land, so no Saga is good for us, but cards in hand is typically bad for us. That's a grief. Do I want to grief them? That's a really interesting question. I could like tempo grief them. I think we'll attack first, make sure that gets through. So that takes us to 12. And now I think actually just looking for Vigor or more hollow ones is better. I can't keep grief black card trap, so I think I'll just keep the shell. Yeah. Shell and MBT seem good. We've now got a combo line covered, so it's now looking like they need a Tabernacle to buy time. That's a grief, and we're just going to chill on this one. Because you just can't activate Bazaar every turn. That's the way the card works when it's not doing something offset is massive card disadvantage. So this turn I'm actually kind of interested in just griefing them, right? Yeah, with that draw I think so. So let's get our attack in. Send them to 4. And then we'll just use all of our cards. They've got 1 more turn. So let's grief you. What have you drawn? What have you drawn? A lot of nonsense, really. So let's just take one of the Beseechers. They've got Leyline, Necro, Beseech, Force of Will. We've got Mindbreak, Chalice of the Void. So they can draw Ritual, go Ritual, Beseech, bargaining away Leyline of the Void, and we can trap what they get off the Beseech. So we win the match. That was cool. See you for round 3, 4, 5, 4. Okay, round 4 and Disaster has struck. We're up against Tomo0109 again. Not great for us. This is the matchup that we lost against Jeskai Luris earlier. We've won the die roll. And as I was saying when we played against the Beseech deck, I think the way I've built my deck might actually be a disadvantage against these Luris decks, which is obviously not a spot you want to be in. I do feel like they drew very well last time, so let's see if that's normal draws or not. They've revealed their Lurus. We've got quite the banging opener here, so we'll keep our 7. And last time I was annoyed about my sequencing because I felt like I wanted more information. So I think I'm going to Bazaar first. What am I discarding with my Bazaar? Let's think that through first. I'm discarding Amalgam, I'm discarding Powder, and I get to keep one of the 2 I draw. I've not got a Dredger at the moment, so that's pretty big for the opponent at least. So let's discard Powder, Amalgam, Grief. Right, so Grief or Wasteland really. Grief is food for an Ichorid. I could just discard the trap actually. No. I think I like... No, actually, yeah, I like discarding the trap, holding the Grief. Because I can draw into black cards later, and I can dredge into black cards. We'll Grief them now to get rid of a Force of Will. Oh, we did... I meant like by casting it. By like discarding it. They meant by casting it. So they've paid the life, showing their hand. Pitches expressive iteration. Now I'll cast a hollow one. They can still have plow, and that's fine. We missed on dredges, which is a bit worrying. We missed on dredges and second bazaars, so they can just strip us here because they're on 4 strip or a 4 wasteland and a strip mine, right? So they probe me and see that I'm very weak, and they have the wasteland. So not ideal for the home teams. We need to top deck a bazaar roughly now. They've not played 3 pieces of power, so we are up against a very weak Jeskai hand. Let's get in. We'll hold the wasteland because if we end up being on discards, then you know we want more cards in hand. If they play a Saga, we'll waste them. They've got a Bauble. They Bauble me. Okay, no. So they just slow rolled. They slow rolled all their power. That makes sense. Let's attack for 4. And I think I'm on board with the idea of griefing them here. If they have more permission, they have more permission. If Lotus has to be used to plough me, then that's fine. They have a Force of Will, pitching Spell Pierce. Do I want to play my Wasteland? I don't know. So I can just Wasteland them, and that means it's gone for when I top deck a Bazaar next turn. I think I can play my Wasteland. I think that bit's true. Now that I've expended my cards, we're not getting to discards. They need plow or they lose. They don't need plow or they lose. They need, you know, they need something though. So that's a Scalding Tarn. And a long pause as our opponent tries to work out how to get through this coming turn. We have got like a lot of quote unquote like virtually card advantage. I know it's been a 2 for 2 trade each time they've Force of Willed our Grief, but them expending 2 cards has meant that they're low. Yeah, I'll just make you fetch now. So that's a Tundra. Opponent's at 7. Two cards, so 4 mana. They play a Lavinia, and pass a turn. Cool. We hit Creeping Chill, we attack for 4. They've got 1 card in hand and a Lavinia in play. They take the 4 this turn, going down to 3, giving them 1 more out to draw Plough. They play a Strip Mine. No attacks. I draw an Ichorid in for 4. Opponent chumps with Lavinia, so no Plough found. One last look at Plough, or another blocker will make another look. And we've got game 1, so that's good. The next games is where it gets harder. I want my Noxious, I want my Sickening Shoals, I want my Vigors. I think I'm going to keep in all the lands this time round and come down on traps, come down on Chalice. I think Misstep's good, but I don't think it's quite as good. I think they're not on so many Ponders and Preordains as you usually see out of the Jeskai decks. And then I'm just going to cut the Chills and one of the Griefs. And I think I might jump between 4 Griefs and 4 Negations on play or draw. 4 Negations on the draw, 4 Griefs on the play. And we'll see how we get on. We'll see. Very threat-light. The reason I'm keeping all the waste and strips is maybe we can have a game like that where we all trade resources and we end up with a 4-4 versus their 2-2. And strip mining them a bunch will be good. They reveal Lurrus, we reveal 7 cards. Our companion is better. 2 Bazaars, 2 wastes is a keep. Obviously we've got nothing here in terms of interaction and good things. They might just have a turn 1 Soul Guide Lantern. They had Soul Guide Lantern a lot last round. They kept 7, so their hand's probably just 4 Wastelands and a Soul Guide. They get Tundra, and they get Soul Guide. Okay. And they Soul Guide their own Scalding Tarn, as per the rules. So, they bauble us. Bauble is fine. And they're up to 5 cards. We get a Sickening Shoal. So what happens if I just Wasteland them? I think that's bad. I think I'm going to play a Bazaar, activate a Bazaar. And I can discard Narcomoeba, Narcomoeba. And one other card. I think I'm going to discard the Wasteland, one of the Wastelands. Or the Amalgam. Now I'm going to discard the Amalgam. And I'm going to cast a Hollow One. It's over to the opponent. They can have a nice mana efficient play next turn by doing like Plough my Hollow One, Wasteland my Bazaar. But we've got an answer to... We've got a rolled up answer to Containment Priest here. They've got a Volcanic Island, so no Wastelands over there at the moment. They do have Lavinia, okay. That's fine. I have a 4-4. Okay. I'm going to play a Wasteland, and I'm going to attack for 4. They don't know our hand at the moment. They know that we're holding a Sickening Shoal. And I'm going to go after their white mana. I know I can get Tabernacled and my Hollow One would die. But I think we're happy just chilling. Taking things slow for now as the game develops. And the slower we take it, the more accurate we can be with our Bazaar activation. Strip mine's fine. They can strip me. I'm going to let that go because I've got the second Bazaar rolled up. And they have a Ragavan. Okay. So I've now got a Force of Will, which doesn't actually do anything. What does this say? I just can't not spend mana on spells. So that's like all my spells. I got 3 cards in hand. I'm ahead racing. I can't play a Hollow One, it just gets countered by Lavinia. I can't play a Sickening Shoal, so I've just got to race as we are. So let's get in for 4. I know they're going to get mana off their Ragavan, but I don't care. So they're just going to take it. We're going to play a Wasteland, and we're going to go after their Volcanic. So, opponent's turn. They do have the Saga. Bit annoying. Not coming in with Lavinia there is a bit strange to me. Like, you're not blocking while she's in play, right? So, well, you're not blocking unless you're dying, and you've got so many blocks to give. I do like casting the Narcomoeba here for the opponent. That looks like it would be powerful. It brings them off of their Saga though if they don't have a land, if they don't have a Mox. And we draw Force of Vigor, so I think it's time that we did some Bazaring. I can't cast this Hollow One. Right? Whenever an opponent casts a spell, yeah. So Force of Will, Narcomoeba. Force of Vigor, I guess. I feel like sitting, waiting, watching is losing. I feel like attacking is losing. I'm going to attack. They don't have much mana. I'm going to put as much pressure down as I can. If we can work through all of these blockers and finally find a way to get this Lavinia off the board, that's the only way to get Lavinia off the board at the moment, is for them to brick and then for us to churn through. That second Saga means that's just not going to work. Lavinia does come in this time. Treasure token, Force of Vigor. They can't cast the Vigor. So it's our turn. We draw a Force of Will. I am going to Bazaar again. We do find a Strip Mine. So let's drop Vigor, Force of Will, Sickening Shoal, and attack for 4. They'll have less treasure tokens, or not enough treasure tokens. Depends on your outlook, I guess. They'll have less artifacts than my 4/4 currently is. So let's just strip mine the Saga on 2. They make a token. It's a 2/2. So now they can leave home Ragavan and construct, attack with Lavinia, and trade off. Or if they've got another land, they can make another construct token, at which point that's very difficult for us. So I'm pretty sure we're dead. We just missed on dredges in the top half of our deck, which, you know, you're allowed to do when you cheat on dredges. We did Exile 2, so we were down to 9, I think. They've got a 3/3 and the ability to make another token, making 2 2/2s, which means our 4/4 will be dead. That's a Shambling Shell. So let's go take a look at what we can draw. We do draw a Wasteland. So let's play the Wasteland and attack, because they've not fetched. So we're all gravy here to eat their 3/3. My life total is becoming a problem. I'll tell you that for free. But we're going to get through 2 sagas and them only having 1 token out of it. So that's good. So they fetch. We waste. They float 1. So maybe they've got Containment Priest to double block with. And they're in a spot where that's fine. Yep. Containment Priest comes in. And we're going to take they're going to take their turn. We'll go to our next turn, and if they remember to use their Soul Guide Lantern on their Ichorid, then on our Ichorid, then we'll concede. We will kill the priest because that's the better card. Two and 2 seems fine. Our Hollow 1 is dead. That was our main threat in clock. We can't cast this Hollow 1 because of Lavinia. We take 7. And then we'll try and make an Ichorid. Did I take out all my chills? Yeah, all the chills have gone, which is an issue. It's a force of negation. All my Narcomoebas have gone. Blue and red looks like an expressive. And opponent shows us a wasteland. Okay, cool. So let's go to game 3 then. Maybe I do want the chills, but I don't know, I just don't have any access to my graveyard. But if games are going to play out like that, then maybe the chills are cool. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to completely come off of negations. I'm going to play 4 grief, 3 creeping chills, and try and kill them like that. Let's go to game 3. Okay, game 3. We're going to mulligan this 7 card hand with no good cards. And we'll powder this. And I guess we'll just put a Stinkweed Imp back in our deck. And we get 2 Bazaars, a Hollow 1 and a Sickening Shoal. So that's cool. We'll keep this nonsense and see what emerges. We've not seen Tabernacle or Needle out of this opponent, which is cool. I mean, Soul Guide Lantern is very difficult for us. Obviously the Sagas and the Infinite Wastelands. And Containment Priest is annoying, but, you know, I continue to be surprised that Ragavan's still in the deck post board. I feel like you should have any main board card be better than that against Dredge, but you know, that's just my opinion, and I don't play Dredge often, and I don't play Lurrus decks ever, so you know, let's see how we can get on here in game 3. We'll play Bazaar, and we'll give it the old activation here. Grief would be a nice draw. Force of Will is a good draw as well, actually. Force of Will does mean I have to come off of Sickening Shoal, though. I think that's okay. I'm going to cast my Hollow 1. And now I can fight their turn 1 hate. Like a Soul Guide Lantern or something. They have mulligan to 4. Which is quite big game for us. They've got Volcanic Island, tap a red, play Ragavan. Ragavan can resolve. I don't think that has an impact on this game. I'm going to dredge this shell slowly, I'm afraid. just because I want to keep Force blue card and I want to keep my second Bazaar. So I'll dredge this. And I hit a Troll and a Thug, so we can do some flipping here. So Golgari Grave Troll, Stinkweed Imp. I've got to keep the Amalgam, it's my only blue card. But we did hit quite well here. So let's go 2 Narcs into play, triggering an Amalgam anyway. So their Ragavan's now dead. Well, not dead, but you know, it's quite easy to control. And we get to burn them for 3 and attack for 4. So fantastic start from us. Our opponent mulliganed lower than we did. Looking for something relevant. They can still have Tabernacle, but I haven't seen Tabernacle yet out of them, I don't think. And I will play my Bazaar, and just so we're all face up about it, really low odds that I activate this Bazaar. Well, actually, saying that, I bought 3 chills back in. I've hit 1 Ichorid. If they don't have anything good, we can really flip at them. Yeah, they mulliganed low, so we do get the match. So it is split between us and them at the moment going into the final round of the league. Okay, so final round of the league. We're up against Sharky M02, who I believe shipped to the showcase on Duel at the weekend. So that's great for them. Big congrats over there. I did win the die roll, and I built this. The reason I played a deck like this last May in 23, and that was when it was like peak Duel, and I built it to beat Duel. So let's see if that still holds true. Maxing out on interactions is usually good against them. Like we've got what 10 relevant blue cards in a Chalice of the Void. So let's see what they come with. This is a nice setup because I actually get to discard a threat. Obviously we need to find a Dredger soon, but two pitch permission spells. They've mulliganed to 6. Let's see if we can get there with Dredge against likely Duel. So Amalgam, Narc and Chill can all go. Give up the Ghost, but then yeah, we still got double blue card open. If one of those was a trap, then I would have a conversation about discarding this Wasteland instead. But Wasteland is so much better into a likely Saga sort of thing, or at some point a Saga. So that's a Workshop into the 1 ring. So we'll negate that, pitching Force of Will. They don't have anything back. We'll take a draw here. And it's a Creeping Chill. We'll play Wasteland. We'll Wasteland you. And pass. If we use Force of Will here, we'll flip on end step. We've got Otawara, which is slow, into Grim Monolith. They've got 3 cards in hand. I think I can force the Grim, right? They've clearly not got another good land. And this allows me to push with my Bazaar and try and force something to happen. So end step, I'll flip this. I don't have a Dredger, so there's no point doing it second main. That's an Ichorid, so I want to respond to that Ichorid trigger. This is our graveyard. So let's just double mill with this. Shambling Shell, Force of Will. I think I'll hold on Ichorid for a second. Nope. Draw step, Dredge 3. We hit Shell, Thug, and another Amalgam. So over to the opponent then. They've got, this is their turn to really make something happen. But I've tried to stifle their development here. They do have an Urza Saga. Do you have anything else? They are paying costs. They do have a Metamorph on Ruby. Okay. So lining up something. In response to the Ichorid trigger, we can flip some cards. Dredger Thug, that one's bigger. Dredger Shell, that's my only hit. Narcomoeba comes in. I'd love to use Narcomoeba, that's going to trigger some Amalgams. How many do we get? Just 2. And Ichorid will eat a Grief down here. We can now dredge that Thug again for 4 more cards. No Creeping Chill. In for 3. And I think this could be a close one. They've got 2 cards left. Let's see what they come with. I get a number of creatures into play. And my Ichorid dies. We've got 3 out of 4 Ichorids in our graveyard. We don't have the black creatures to feed it at the moment. Opponent's Saga goes to 2. And they just pass the turn back with Sagas to block with. So let's do some dredging. 2 shells at the moment. First one doesn't find anything new. Second one finds a Creeping Chill. So we'll discard these boys. And it's found a Stinkweed Imp as well. Yes, I'd like to use Chill. So Ichorid can eat... Yeah, so we're just going to eat our dredges that aren't Stinkweed Imp here. And just put power in play. Draw step, I'll dredge my Stinkweed Imp. And our opponent concedes. Cool, so we get game 1 after 2 pieces of interaction. We'll bring in traps. And we'll bring in revivals. Not revivals, Noxious. Grief on the draw can for sure go. Misstep doesn't do anything. And I think one more cut. I think I'm going to try cutting Creeping Chill. Creeping Chill or Ichorid. Interesting. I think Creeping Chill. Ichorid hits more times. Trimming all the griefs makes it so that our Ichorids aren't as good, right? So maybe I'm supposed to do it the other way around. This hand's interesting, but not good enough. This hand can get powdered away. And we'll just keep the Vigor in our deck. So powder, Vigor on the bottom, say done. 2 Bazaars, no interaction. Let's watch our opponent Goldfish us. Okay, Snow-Covered Island into Pithing Needle, name Bazaar of Baghdad. I'm going to strip mine your island. Opponent's second turn. Which is Workshop. No plays. I'm going to Wasteland your Workshop. So you get reborn. Tapped. Mindbreak Trap. Dope. So we'll yield. If we can get through this turn, we get to discard to hand size with double interaction up. Urza Saga's a big problem. Force of Will. We'll discard a Shambling Shell here. The Saga goes to 2. And I play an Ancient Tomb. Oh, Dredge. We get a Narcomoeba. I think we're just going to be too slow. Yeah, let's pass and discard the Shambling Shell again, I think. It's going to be about buying time. This is our graveyard at the moment. We did Mill of Vigor, which is a shame. If they've got like a Soul Guide in their deck, then I can just like pick this one up and go somewhere else. We've got Graph Digger's Cage. Okay. I'll just take 4 here. It's going to get bigger. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to dredge once more to get a green card. And I'll yield and discard a powder. Grim Monolith is fine. Now chump block, I think. I'll go to 11 and Vigor, Wasteland. No, so let's go to the next one. Got by Needle. Good job by the opponent. We tried to buy some time with our Wasteland, but couldn't quite get there. I think on the play I'm interested in having Griefs again. And I think I can drop some Chills in exchange. And maybe a Thug. So Bazaar, Grief, Vigor, Chalice, Force. This seems like quite the banger. I don't really have much on an activation, do I? Well, I can discard Powder, Shell, Grief probably, trying to find a blue card. And then I can dredge back into Vigor later. So let's start there. So we missed on blue card. But Powder, Force, and Vigor then. Powder, Force of Will, Vigor, Grief, you. Oh, but if I'm pitching my Shell, I don't have access to my Vigor in the future. Right, Powder and Force of Will I think are easy. I think I just discard the Shambling Shell. Play Chalice of the Void. And pass the turn. This might get forced, it does not. Opponent's turn 1 is Workshop, Mana Vault, pass. Okay. I think I'm going to slowly dredge this Shambling Shell. I hit a Narcomoeba, but not another Dredger. Yes. And now I'm going to Grief my opponent. Opponent gets griefed. Cover to duel, Force of Will, Time Walk. So, fuck. I can just try and high roll them, right? And I think that's the line. Is I take your Force of Will. I pass the turn to you. Upkeep, Vigor your Vault. You have to top deck exactly Workshop or Lotus. Or Mana Crypt to get onto a duel. If you get onto a duel, then congratulations. And then I get 2 Bazaar flips for dredges. That's what I'm doing. So let's pass the turn. Their hand is Duel, Walk, Otawara. We'll upkeep, Vigor this. So that means we've got uses out of all of our cards. They float 3 for no reason. Okay, your 3 goes away. Main phase. They've definitely got outs to get the duel on the stack this turn. Otawara comes down. And we just need a good few flips here. So we should do this main phase. Now it doesn't matter. Bazaar and Trap. Okay, so no dredges there. We'll respond to this Ichorid trigger. We did get rid of our 1 dredger, right, to cast that Grief. There's a Stinkweed Imp, that's a pretty big game. And now we can dredge again. Now we can dredge, at least. So, Shell and Imp hit a Narcomoeba, so that's going to bring back 2 Amalgams. Yes, please. Ichorid's going to eat one of those griefs. Trigger the 2 amalgams. We're going to draw step Stinkweed Imp. And yeah, our opponent can kill us at any point. We're just absolutely trying to aggro them down here. They're just on top decks, I think, at this point. Any mana source buys them a turn. Any 2 mana source gets a duel into play, so it's pretty close and pretty hairy. We'll get in for 4. Opponent goes to 16. I sideboarded for interaction, not aggro, right? Yeah, I dropped my chills, but I get a bunch of amalgam triggers. And we're going to see our whole deck next turn. We didn't find any more Ichorids this turn, which is a shame. So they are going to get one more turn after this one, at least. Depends on what they come with. Ancient Tomb, that buys a coveted jewel and an extra turn. So it looks like we lose round 5 here. Yeah, so it goes. We did interact. We maybe could have interacted differently, but we get another amalgam back. But unlikely that that prized amalgam's going to untap there. So opponent comes in, they've got 2 jewels now, going up to 9 cards in hand, 8 cards in hand. And we're just slightly slow. So yeah, how much do I want to watch this happen? I've seen it before, actually. I have witnessed coveted jewel go off. 12 cards is fine. Let's go and yeah, no, that was a league. We 3-2 this league against losing to Jewel Shops, which is a bit annoying because I did want to build this deck to have like a decent duel matchup, but the deck is so fast and powerful. And then we lost to Jeskai, which seemed to be like a close matchup, although they did mulligan really low in the last game. So yeah, we beat Oath, which was cool. We beat Jeskai again, and then we beat a deck that I can't remember. So yeah, cool league all told. Opponent just cast a PO and has got 22 cards in hand, 3 mana floating. I imagine I'm behind. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.